Okay, this is the case of William Ray, plaintiff versus City of Homestead defendants. This is in the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County, Florida, case number 14-013120. This is the deposition of Chief Alexander Rowe. Today is January the 22nd, year 2015, starting time 10:29 a.m. Will attorneys please state their appearance?
Dana Gallup, attorney for plaintiff, William Ray.
Allison Smith, attorney for the defendant, City of Homestead.
Please raise your right hand. Please state your full name, spelling your last name for the record.
Alexander E. Rolle, R-O-L-L-E, Jr.
And do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you will give today will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. You may proceed.
Okay. And Court reporter, did you note the appearance of the city's representative?
I did not. Please
Okay.
identify yourself for the record.
My name is Vivian, V-I-V-I-A-N, Manach, M-A-N-A-C-H.
Okay. All right. Good morning.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm going to assume, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you have had your deposition taken before?
Yes, I have.
In other matters?
Yes, I have.
Okay, so I'll skip through some of the preliminary instructions that I'm sure you've heard many times, and unless we have to go back over them because you or I are disregarding them in some way.
No doubt.
Okay. Could you please state your current position with the City of Homestead?
Chief of Police.
Okay. I'm going to begin today by going through some background information with regard to you, and then we'll move this matter forward. When did you start working for the City of Homestead Police Department?
Well, I started in '79, and I left and came back. But my original date is February 1980.
Okay. And did you leave the department at some point after 1980?
No, I haven't.
So you left at some point in '79 and then came back in 1980?
Yes.
Okay. Was there, and what was your position when you started with the department?
Patrolman.
Had you worked for any other law enforcement prior to that time?
When I left, I went to the state attorney's office working as a process servicer.
Okay.
That was way back in '79.
Okay, but before '79, had you been with law enforcement?
No, I haven't. No, I wasn't.
Okay. And was there a time shortly after you started the second time in 1980 with the city that you resigned or attempted to resign?
No, I've been there since 1980.
Okay. And who was the chief of police when you started?
Emmett Snyder.
Okay. Let me go ahead and we'll introduce this as Exhibit 1. Exhibit 1 appears to be a memo that is written by you. Is that your signature at the bottom?
Yes, it is.
It's dated August 13, 1981, and the subject is resignation. This appears to be a resignation letter by you, correct?
Correct.
So did you resign on August 13, 1981?
Yes, I did.
Okay. I thought you had just told me that after 1980 you had not left the department.
Okay, it was my error. I know I left in '81 But I think when I came back, my time was bridged back to 1980 because they gave me back my time when I came back. So that was instead of having me going and resigning in 81 and coming back, they gave me back my original date, which was 1980, because they gave me my time back.
Okay.
So that's what happened.
Okay, so when you told me before that you had left in 79 or 80,
Mhm.
it actually was 81.
Yeah, it's on there. It's 81.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what was the reason you resigned?
I had a better offer at that time with the state attorney's office.
And you told me before, but what was the job that you took with the
It
state
was a
attorney?
process servicer.
And how was that a better job in your mind at that time?
Well, it was paying more money, and
Okay.
and they gave me a car. Back then, we didn't have a car to drive, so it was paying more money. And I had the ability to become a state attorney investigator. So it was kind of like a stepping stone.
Okay. And how long did you work for the state attorney's office?
I think I was there for about 9 months.
So what made you leave the state attorney's office?
Oh, I wanted to come back to Homestead. As a matter of fact, they asked me to come back.
Okay. But why did you want to leave and come back to Homestead at that point?
Well, I was born and raised there.
Okay.
So I figured, things had gotten better. They had gotten raises, and things got a little better in Homestead. So I was asked to come back, and I came back.
And who asked you to come back?
I don't know. I think it could have been. I think it was the city manager. I believe it was at the time. Was Alex Muxo. I think he was the one that brought me back.
You save the court reporter some time and ask you if you can spell that last name.
Muxo. I think it was Muxo. I believe it was.
Okay. I'm out of room here.
Running out of room.
No, yeah. I'll be okay.
Did you want me to mark it to the room?
Yes. Who did I? Yes. I should. Let's do it that way. I'll circulate it that way.
Exhibit 1 has been marked.
I'll leave it in front of you for now.
Okay.
Create a pile. This will be Exhibit 2. I knew there was a reason why I liked him on this other side.
Exhibit 2 has been marked.
All right. Do you recognize this document?
Not really, but I'm quite sure it's mine.
Okay. And would this be basically the time that you were leaving the state attorney's office and returning to the police department?
Let's see. It says hire date August 25th, 1981, and.
Or is this the reason?
I don't-
In other words, is this the reason you gave for leaving Homestead Police when you went to the state attorney's office?
Yes, I'm quite sure I wrote it.
Okay.
I think I did.
And the type part, is that did you type that out? I know this is a long time ago, but
Yeah, because I mean, I got a good memory, but this is kind of tough. But I'm quite sure that this is mine because it was a state attorney office, and
right. Is that your signature under, I guess, OK? And then the date 2/22/82. That's your signature?
I don't think that's not my signature.
Okay.
I don't know where that came from.
Okay.
It's not me.
Well, the document indicates, as reason for leaving, the department was not designed for the motivated person that I am, and the kinds of things I wanted to do within the department was limited. Does that, to your recollection, accurately express the feelings you had at the time as to why you were leaving?
It could have been.
Okay. Mark this as Exhibit 3.
Exhibit 3 has been marked.
This goes to what you were saying before, which is that you requested that your resignation be bridged so that your rehire date of March 4th, 1982. You were asking that the time be bridged, I believe, here.
Yeah, this is what yeah.
Okay. And you're indicating that that was approved, correct?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm back.
Well, not only back, but I mean they
bridged it.
They bridged the
it, yeah,
time.
they bridged
right,
it.
Right. Okay. We'll mark the next one as Exhibit 4.
Exhibit 4 has been marked.
Thank you. You'll see Exhibit 4, and we're now probably thankfully for everyone moving ahead 30 years. So this is this was obtained from the city. This is an organizational chart for the Homestead Police Department, 2010, 2011. You'll see, of course, your designation there as chief.
Right.
Okay, and I'm going to ask you some questions about this, but since we are about to bridge 30 years, let me just connect the dots a little bit. Just run through for me from the time when you returned, you were a patrolman, correct?
Correct.
And give me the progression of your career, essentially.
Patrolman,
Mm-hmm.
detective, sergeant, detective sergeant,
Mm-hmm.
captain,
Mm-hmm.
major,
Mm-hmm.
and chief.
And when did you become a major?
Oh God, it had to be probably. I'm guessing. I don't keep up with the dates that well.
Give me
Had to
a
be somewhere
ballpark.
around 90, maybe 94, something like that.
Okay. And who was the chief at that time?
Curtis Ivy.
Curtis Abbey. You, of course, know my client, Captain Ray, right?
Yes.
Okay. When did you first come to know him?
Well, it's been a while back. I think he was employed with Florida City before he came to Homestead.
Mm-hmm. Did you know him at that time?
Yeah, I know him. I know him.
Just as essentially
As a police officer.
two fellow police officers
Yes.
in different departments?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, now I'm going to just give one instruction because we tend to do this in depositions. You kind of know where I'm going with the question and you answer before I've finished, which is very natural in conversation, but it will start to drive the court reporter a little bit crazy.
I understand.
And so just try to allow me, I'll try to afford the same courtesy because sometimes I tend to jump on your answer too, so we'll try to just space them out a little bit. Okay? And then there came a time, of course, when Captain Ray, not a captain at the time, came to Homestead, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay. At that time, what was your rank?
I have no idea. I don't
Okay.
know. Didn't know what time he came. You let me know what time he came, and I'll probably tell you what my rank was.
Tell me this.
1988.
Okay, 1988.
I was a sergeant.
Okay. And during that time when Bobby Ray first came to the department, were you in the same department together? Did you work together? Or
I'm quite sure I did. I was a uniform patrol sergeant, and I was a detective sergeant, so I'm quite sure we worked somewhere together.
okay. And fast forwarding a bit to 1994, thereabouts, when you were a major, at that time, do you recall what Bobby Ray's position was?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. And you became chief in what year?
98.
And at the time that you were chief, do you recall Bobby Ray's position at that time?
He may have been a sergeant because, yeah, he probably was a sergeant.
Okay. And as a sergeant, he would have reported to a captain.
Yes,
And if there was a major position at that time, that captain would have reported to the major.
that's correct.
And then the major, of course, reporting to you.
Correct.
Okay. When Bobby Ray was promoted to captain, were you the person who made that decision?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Let me try to get our timeline a little straight.
Turn this
You might
down.
want to, just put that on vibrate.
Yeah, put it on.
If you could. Okay. According to my information, Bobby Ray became a captain in 2011. Does that sound about right to you? And if it helps you out, the org chart will, to some extent, validate that.
Yeah, it was either 2011 or 2010, something like that. I'm
Okay.
not really sure, but it was in that time period.
Okay. So let's go ahead and turn to that chart because I want to get a sense of this. So this is 2010, 2011. It's got a revision date, if you see at the bottom, of 9/23/2010. Okay. And you see there, of course, Captain Ray listed under operational division, correct?
Correct.
And according to this chart at that time, there was no position of major. Is that correct?
No majors.
Right. When you started as chief in '98, was there a major reporting to you?
I believe I had 2 majors reporting to me.
Okay. And you remember the names of the majors?
Major Scott Kennedy and Major Joe Villaronga.
Spell the last name for me.
Villa, Villaronga.
Okay. And did there come upon a time that Scott Kennedy left the department or retired, or?
He was pretty much forced out.
Okay. So he was terminated?
Yes.
Or asked to resign?
Yeah, asked to resign.
Okay. I assume by you.
I had nothing to do with it.
Oh, you had nothing to do with it?
Not at all.
Were you not the chief at that time?
I sure was.
Okay. Who was it who asked him to leave?
Well, based on the information I got, it was the former mayor and the former city manager.
Okay. And what happened with Joe Villaronga?
Joe Villaronga was put on administrative leave by me.
And then what? Did he resign, or?
Well, he was under investigation because of some allegations about about some funds with FOP money, and that went on for a long time with the state attorney's office and also with Metro-Dade Police.
And then what ultimately happened?
And after years, it just kind of went away.
Then was
He-
he officially terminated, or did he
No,
resign?
I think he resigned.
Okay. And so after those two gentlemen were no longer majors, did you promote any other individual to the major position up through between that time and 2010?
No, I don't think I did.
Okay. Can you give me a ballpark? Which gentleman, I guess, left the department first? Was it Kennedy or Belaranga?
Villaranga.
Okay. And can you give me a ballpark as to when Kennedy was put on admin leave?
I think it was somewhere, I'm not too sure. I think it was somewhere around maybe 2009, 10, something like that. I'm not too sure.
Okay. Is there any particular reason why you did not promote or hire any person to the position of major between 2009 and I believe at least 2012?
No, I just wanted 4 captains. I didn't want a major anymore at that time.
And what was your reason for that?
I just didn't want a major, and I wanted to have more control over what went on in the department.
Okay. So, again, turning back to the organizational chart, this is 2010, and it shows no major position. I want to direct your attention to the top of the document, lateral to your position. It states internal affairs, and it says 1 lieutenant, but it doesn't have a name. Who was responsible for internal affairs as of this organizational chart?
That was Lieutenant Marie Kent.
Okay. And maybe let's do this working backwards for a moment. Prior to Marie Kent, well, let me ask you this first. Approximately when did Marie Kent become head of IA or over IA?
I can't give you the exact year, but Detective Aquino was there first. No, let me think who was there. I'm taking it back. Lieutenant Sincore was there.
Spell that last name for me.
Sincore, Sincore.
And who preceded Sincore?
Lieutenant Marie Kent. Lieutenant Marie Kent.
Well, I don't mean to confuse.
Before.
In other words, we have
before,
Sincore.
sorry.
My understanding, you have Sincore, Marie Kent, and then Aquino.
Aquino, exactly.
So I'm going back before Sincore. Who was head of IA?
Oh wow, that was he was there for 8 years. So let me think.
Okay. Sincore was there for 8 years?
Yeah, 8 years. I'm trying to think. It could have been. I'm not too sure. It could have been John Dygon. It could have been Dygon.
And how do you spell his last name?
Dygon. And he was a lieutenant as well.
And at the time that John Dygon was put into that position, were you chief at that time?
I think I was, yeah.
Okay.
I think I was.
So you made that determination?
I think I made that determination.
Okay. So who preceded Dygon?
Sincore. Oh, you mean, I'm sorry, before then?
Yeah.
I think it was, gosh, you're taking me way back. I'm trying to think. It may have been, oh gosh.
I'll tell you what, let's work it the other way.
Yeah,
you became chief, you said, in
98.
98. Who was in IA when you were appointed chief?
I'm trying to figure it out myself. Because we had so many guys that were there.
You don't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember because we had Sergeant Baker. I don't know whether he came before Dygon, after Dygon.
Okay.
But-
Well, let's try it this way. Who was the first IA person you appointed that you can recall?
I think it could have been, I'm not too sure. It could have been either Dygon or either Baker. I'm not too sure which one of my appointed.
Okay. So Baker was in there. You have Dygon, and And John Digon was a lieutenant while
He's
he
a
was
lieutenant.
while he was in IA.
Right.
Did he? What happened to him after he left IA? Did he leave the department or
Left the department.
Okay.
I remember that much. Yeah.
And was he? Did he resign or was
He
he
resigned.
fired?
He resigned.
Was he asked to resign or did he voluntarily resign?
He voluntarily resigned.
Okay. Okay. So then you appointed Sincor. Sincor's a lieutenant at that time as well.
I think. I'm not. Well, I think he was. I'm not sure. I think he was a lieutenant.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have the charts in front of me, so I don't want
That's
to
okay.
speculate. Yeah.
And what was it that made you choose Sincor to replace Digon in IA?
Well, going back, I think I promoted him to a lieutenant. I'm not sure, but back then, and if you know internal affairs, everybody don't want to do that job because it's not a job where people are liked.
You don't have a lot of friends.
You're not liked.
Right.
So you have to just, and everybody was raising their hand to get it. So I think he was, at the time, I think he was the only one that really wanted that position.
Okay. And you said he was there for 8 years.
8 years.
And then did he leave the department?
No, he went to uniform patrol, midnight shift.
At what rank?
Lieutenant.
Okay. Was that a downgrade or
No, he's a lateral over.
lateral?
Lateral
Okay.
over.
And did he ask for that, or did you move him?
Well, it was kind of mutual agreement. You know, he was pretty much tired of doing it after 8 years, and you know, he just wanted to move, so I moved him.
From your perspective, were you having any issues with Lieutenant Sincor's performance in IA?
A little bit, but not to the point where, you know, he was incompetent.
Okay.
It was just that you know, after being 8 years in one position, working by yourself, it's kind of tough, and I realized that.
Okay. Now, during the time that Lieutenant Digon was overseeing IA, to your recollection, had there been any document destruction going on at that time with regard to IA files?
I don't.
You can answer.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay. And how about during the 8 years with Lieutenant Sincor, to your recollection, had IA done any document destruction?
No, they had. No.
No? Okay. Now, if I understand correctly, after Lieutenant Sincor left IA, that's when he was replaced by, at the time, Lieutenant Kent.
Yes.
Okay. And Lieutenant Kent, prior to becoming assigned to IA, was in what department? Where'd she come out of?
She may have been uniform patrol. I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not too sure. I think she was uniform patrol though.
And explain to me how it came about that Lieutenant Kent was appointed to IA.
Well, I put out a memorandum to the police officers, you know, who and asked them, you know, which one of them wanted to position.
Who wanted to apply?
Who wanted to
essentially.
apply for the position, and I received several names, and like I normally do, I usually try to go by seniority. I try to go by, you know, who's next in line, and she was the only lieutenant that put in for it, and I appointed her to the position.
So the others were of a lower rank than lieutenant?
Lower rank.
Okay.
Lower rank.
In the process, did you do some, I guess, vetting of Lieutenant Kent in connection with determining whether she was, I guess, a suitable fit for IA?
I did.
Okay. And tell me what you did.
Well, working in the department as a police chief, you know, you pretty much know your people.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that applied for it, you know, they were okay, but I felt that she had more knowledge, and I can pretty much trust her in the position of IA, and she would do exactly what I asked her to do, as far as, you know, being in that position.
How long had you worked with Marie Kent by that time?
If she went in there in 2010 or 11.
No, I mean total time with the department. In other words, when you joined the department, you joined before she did, I believe.
Yeah, I did.
Right?
I did.
And but you had worked with her for some number of years.
Probably, maybe 20 years.
Right. And other than obviously knowing her, having worked with her in the department, in connection with deciding whether she was the appropriate fit for IA, did you, for example, review her personnel file to look at, for example, her evaluations, things of that nature?
No, I knew about those.
Okay. Did you, again, in connection with determining her fit with IA, did you look to see whether she had any previous IA investigations or findings?
No, I knew about those.
Okay. So you say you knew about them, so just to clarify, at least at the time that you were appointing her to IA, other than your knowledge of them, you didn't specifically go back and pull the IA files and review them and so forth?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Do you recall who the other candidates were? You said there were a few others.
Yeah, I think it was Sergeant Faust, Sergeant Yanko. I'm assuming he was a sergeant at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was, I think, was Sergeant Dijon.
Like the mustard?
D-E?
D-I-J-O-N?
No,
or-
D-E-J-O-H-N.
Not even like the mustard?
Dijon.
Okay.
Not like the mustard.
Okay. And to your recollection, at least through that date, did either of those three individuals have any previous IA investigations as to them?
No, they didn't.
So they, so to speak, had a clean record as
Well-
far as IA was concerned.
Well, as far as I know, you know.
Yeah. Did that weigh into your mind at all when comparing those three individuals to Marie Kent, the fact that Marie Kent had had IA issues and some sustained findings versus these three individuals who apparently did not?
Not really. I wanted somebody with experience and someone that would, I know, could to get the job done if I needed someone to do something.
Excuse me. You made a comment earlier that you said that she would do what you asked her to do. What do you mean by that?
Well, if we have an investigation,
Mm-hmm.
I would give her instruction on what to do, and she pretty much accomplished the task. She was a person that carried out, you know, her responsibilities, and she did a good job with whatever I gave her to do.
Okay. And if I understand correctly from Marie Kent's deposition, you are, in your role as chief, really the head of IA. Is that your understanding as well?
Yes.
Okay. And so you, fair to say, give direction and instruction, in this case to Marie Kent, as the IA, head of IA.
Correct.
Okay. And do you therefore, are you the individual who would make determinations, for example, as to which officers or which allegations as to officers are and are not investigated as an IA matter?
That's correct.
Okay. In the position of IA that Marie Kent had, did she have any, I guess, autonomy to elect to pursue an investigation that you did not direct or authorize?
No, she didn't.
Okay. In the past, Syncor was there for 8 years, you said. Were there instances in which Lieutenant Syncor wanted to conduct an investigation as to a particular officer, and you said no?
I can't recall.
Okay. Do you recall any instances where you asked or directed Syncor to conduct an investigation and he either objected or did not express an opinion that he didn't want to pursue that investigation?
No, I can't recall that.
Okay. And in a more simplistic way, what I'm trying to understand or find out is if there were instances between you and Syncor where you had, and I understand you were ultimately the supervisor, so your way went, but where you had conflict or some opposition by him as to whether or how an investigation would be conducted.
It may be times that he may have ran across an investigation and he wanted to do something and I said no, or it could have been vice versa. But we had discussions, and at the end of the day, we came to a mutual agreement on something because I didn't tolerate any foolishness.
Mm. Okay. So, any particular reason why on this chart Kent's name isn't specifically listed, if you know?
Well, I think it's...
I mean, she's listed under... Okay, she's listed under captain, under investigative, so...
No, Kevin.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's Kevin.
That's
Never
Kevin,
mind.
yeah.
Wrong Kent.
It
Okay.
happens.
They always confuse them.
So, my same question. Do you know why it wasn't listed there?
It could have been an error. Could have been a typical error because if you look at the admin assistants and some other positions here, we don't have names up on those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Look up on the training sergeant, it's not a name there.
Yes, I see that.
So, it's not like, anything was, it could have been misprint, it could have been just, the name just wasn't there.
Okay. Would you consider yourself to be a friend of Captain Kent? Marie Kent?
A friend?
Yeah.
You mean a personal friend?
Yeah.
No.
Have you socialized together? Anything
Not at
like
all.
that? Okay. And you know her husband?
I do.
Okay. And my understanding is they met while in the department and got married.
I assume they did.
Okay. And were you responsible for promoting Kevin to captain?
I think I did.
Okay. And in her position as IA, am I correct that it was possible that she might have to be called upon to investigate matters that could involve her own husband?
She could have.
Okay. Did that cause you any concern that the person you were designating to head up IA could find herself in a situation where she has to consider or be instructed to investigate her own husband?
Form.
Well, no, not really, because it wouldn't have gone like that. I wouldn't have let it happen.
What do you mean by that?
I wouldn't have had her to investigate him. I would have found somebody in the department. I would have done it myself.
I understand.
Yeah, I wouldn't allow that.
Now, it also indicates here on this chart a court liaison or administrative assistant working under internal affairs. You see that there?
Yes.
Okay. I know at some point in time, Edna Marie Hernandez had that position, correct?
Yes.
Prior to Edna Marie, was there someone in that position?
Yeah, it was another female. I think her name was Lou. I can't remember my last name right now.
Lou?
Her name was Lou. Yeah, female. It's on one of the charts, and I have charts that with all the employees on that. But there was another female that worked there.
And did Lou work under Syncor as well?
She did.
Okay. And how long, roughly, had Lou worked in the IA department?
Oh, probably for maybe 5-6 years, maybe.
All under Syncor, or also under Marie Kent?
Under Syncor. I think she worked under Syncor.
Okay.
I believe I had another female that worked there, Zuni. I think Zuni worked there. I don't know what she came. I think Zuni came after Lou. I'm not too sure, but I can't tell unless I see the charts. But I had 3 females working there at the time that I've been chief.
Okay. Were you involved at all in the process of moving hiring Edna Marie Hernandez into that IA assistant role?
No, I didn't.
Who was responsible for doing that?
I usually let the supervisor, who's at the time Lieutenant Syncor. He was the one that made his choice.
Okay, so Syncor, before he left, hired Edna Marie Hernandez.
Well, he asked me to let him. He asked me to hire her for him.
Okay.
She wasn't my choice.
Now, was she in the department prior to that?
No, I don't think she was.
So, and this person, Zuni, may have been before, sounds like before Edna Marie?
Yeah, she was for, she was for her.
Where did Zuni go?
She became a police officer with FIU.
Okay, so she left the department.
She left the department.
Okay. So was there a posting or an advertising for this IA assistant position when Zuni left?
I'm quite sure it was.
Okay. And I'm assuming Edna Marie was an individual who applied from the outside?
Yes, she did.
Okay. Were there other applicants to your recollection?
They were. I think there were 2 or 3.
And were those other applicants, to your recollection, within the department or from outside the department?
Well, I remember the one that I wanted was not in the department, but she was employed by the city.
And who was that?
Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of her name. She was working in development services, and I can't think of her name right now, but she was selected by Lieutenant Syncor. But she was
no recollection of her name?
Yeah, I can't remember right now because I can't think of the name.
If it comes back to you, let me know.
I forgot the name. But she's still with the city right now.
Okay. In development services?
No, I think she's with customer service. Is it Yanel?
They're not supposed to help you, but I don't really care on this question.
It's not
I'm just trying to find a name,
I don't think it's an earth-shattering question. Anyway, why did you want Yanela or Yanel or whatever her name is?
Well, I doing my dealings with the city, going over to City Hall, I ran into her a couple of times, and she seemed to be a nice, kind of educated young lady. Mm-hmm. She had a nice personality, so just from me visiting over, I just like the personality because I want somebody in the department that was kind of PR friendly.
Okay.
And she met that role.
So, but from what you're telling me, Lieutenant Syncor, was it that he, for some reason, didn't want Yannetta, or he just wanted Edna Marie more, or how did this work?
He pretty much told me that he thought she was highly qualified because she worked down at Monroe County, or down at Ocean Reef I think she was a assistant to the chief down there, and she had done some internal affairs work. So, you know, by him working by himself, he wanted somebody that was kind of knowledgeable of what was had to be done in internal affairs, and she kind of made him easy about giving her a position.
So she had worked at Ocean Reef's police department?
Yeah, well, public safety.
Or public safety. So fair to say, from your perspective, it was not so much that you had any negative as to Edna Marie as it was you felt something positive based upon your interaction with the individual, Yanil, or whatever her name was, working with the city.
That's true.
Okay. And I'm assuming, of course, you didn't really know Edna Marie from a hole in the wall before she applied.
100%, I didn't know her.
Did you actually interview Edna Marie?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Tina, do you mind if we go off for 1 second?
No.
Off